Hey everyone, welcome back to my second look at NieR. I'm really excited for this. We're going to listen to Wretched Weaponry, and don't really know what to expect except that it's probably going to be beautiful, it's probably going to be interesting. This might be a battle theme that kind of contrasts the forest theme that we had before. And for sort of like last time, what I want to talk about is the name in Japanese first. I'm no expert, but I like to explore it a little bit and see like what potential meaning is lost in localization just before I start the piece as context. So in this case, it is orokashi heiki, which is... Wretched is a word that it's interesting, like its true meaning is oftentimes not captured super well in like the sort of consensus feeling of what that word means in English, because it just sounds, at least from what I seem to feel like people's perspective is, it sounds like a really terrible thing. Like wretched sounds horrible, but almost in like a evil way, like wicked almost. But it's not really what wretched mean. Wretched is more like sad and pitiable, like unfortunate, like downtrodden, like it'd be like a wretched street urchin or something. Like so wretched is a word that sometimes doesn't always carry the connotation that it really has in English, but it's that accurate meaning that is more what the Japanese means. The orokashi with that kanji at the start is, about foolish or pitiable, foolishness. And they use katakana again in this, like they did in the other track, as sort of a stylistic thing. Like it gives it a different feeling, maybe more artificial. It just changes it a bit, or even more like fantasy. It might have both a fantasy and a sci-fi feeling. Like it's often used for these loan words, for these foreign concepts. So normally I don't think it would be written with the katakana. And then heiki is, the weapons or the arms. But then it also lists with otsu ko at the end. One of them is one of the celestial stems. It's like an ordinal system, and this is, I believe, the second one, and sort of communicates the idea of it being the medium track. And then the last part, that it's dynamic. So what I'm assuming, and based on also some helpful comments I got on the last video for NieR, that the music in the game's dynamic, that it has music that happens in an area, and that it does heighten, just like a game like Hollow Knight would do when you enter combat. So there's a choice of how to represent that on the OST. And it looks like they've flagged it here as being not the lowest intensity instrumentation, not the full instrumentation necessarily, but it's going to be at a medium level. I don't know if that means it's consistent or that it means it would be considered medium because it's not only low or high, but it mixes between them. And obviously dynamic seems to imply that this is going to be a track that captures different versions of the music that play in the game. But yeah, it's interesting. The title itself like just communicates this concept of like some kind of weapons. Potentially it's talking about like constructs or things that are enemies in the game that are, like kind of foolish, pitiable, like something you actually, feel bad about in almost a tragic way, as part of the conflict. So it might be almost like a kind of tragic battle, but who knows, it might also be very energetic, and I'm looking forward to that because I haven't yet heard what this game and composer has to offer in terms of like its high intensity music. So let's get into it. Strap in for this, what might be a super long reaction. I'll try to stay concise, the eternal battle. But here we go. This is orokashi heiki, or Wretched Weaponry. Oh my god, immediately it's not what I was expecting. We got a trap beat. Just kidding. Okay, let me talk about this a little bit, but I also want to go back and catch something I heard at one point here. Yeah, that like metallic hit in the background. Right there. Yeah, it's just interesting. Like something I commented on the other track was that, which was like Forest City, something? I forget what the name of it was. Oh wait, I have it right here. It was Forest Kingdom. that it had such a, like, it had woody sounds and it had metallic sounds, and it really like made me imagine certain things in the game. Again, here we've already got these powerfully metallic sounds coming in, which make perhaps even more sense here because it's talking about, you know, weaponry, and I'm imagining like metal constructs. I've seen like different, you know, media from the game, so I have a bit of an idea what types of enemies are in it. There does seem to be a lot of metal, but I could be wrong. I don't know the game too well yet because I haven't played it. But yeah, just that one hit, like it doesn't do it again soon, but it's very distinctive. Yeah, I just love it. Like immediately sets a scene, even just hitting that once. It's just this great, like heavily rhythmic, but also calm section. Oh, just the echo on that. Wow. That's so different. Wow, just this heavy echo reverberation in the mix. I don't think I've ever heard that in a track. It's like an underwater level of reverberation. Just got this kind of lilting back and forth piano shape. You know, this great moving percussion. Getting to the sense of a cadence. Oh my god. Wow, and there's a couple more of those metallic clangs. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there was some really interesting vocal work in Forest Kingdom, and this is more typical, at least compared to that, where it was more unusual. It almost felt like Forest Spirits, Kodama singing. In this case, this is a little bit more, you know, normal singing, but it's still not completely. And I forget if someone had commented about it being an invented language. It certainly sounds like it here. I don't recognize the language. Maybe I'm just dumb and I'm not hearing it, but it sounds invented to me. And I just love the stylistic nature of the singing, these little sweeps and these ways to make it sound more folk or organic, like trying to not only create, like, again, it seems like, and I could be wrong, seems like an invented language, which goes with trying to invent also like a style of singing that's not exactly matching with something that exists, just like the language might be reminiscent of real languages but isn't. And I think it's doing a great job, and it just sounds incredible. Like there's just timbre of these voices are amazing. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting the track to be this peaceful. It does line up with that, you know, localization of wretched and like the meaning in Japanese of orokashi. Yeah, it is more tragic, but in a peaceful way. You know, it's calm. Now it's got this beautiful kind of unique style of singing, and got these metallic clangs and this kind of constant active rhythm, but it's pulled back enough. And it's just got this kind of comfortable, I would say hypnotic, motion on the keys. It gradually moves to a cadential harmony to go into the section with the voices to kind of delineate those sections of music. But man, it's just gorgeous. I love the way these voices sound. You've got these subtle layers of different voices. It doesn't sound like one. And you've kind of retained all the layers from before. You've got that heavy echo reverberation there, which is just setting such a tone. Like, I just love that slide. It just gives it such character. Another cadence. It's interesting that they bring in this background voice when the section starts, just like before. You have dun 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 dun. You have a voice that just sings that one note, and it's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit mysterious. It's added in the mix a little bit lower, but it's like a second supportive voice, almost like a shadow of the other voice. Like the other voice is up here moving around, but the light shining from directly above, so that shadow down there is in the same place, just hits that same note over and over. But what's interesting to me is that they don't keep using it. It's only used for those couple bars, and then when the main voice moves on, it drops that shadow voice underneath. So I really found that voice interesting, and also interesting that they don't keep it in this section. And then it drops out. I love that harmony. Just that held note is lovely. And just this climb up. Beautiful melodic arc. Back to this cadence. The vocal style's changing even more. A little bit of a trill on the R. Ooh, okay, we just stepped up into a new harmony that wasn't used before. Sorry, I paused it instantly because it excited me. I guess I'm trying to get in the habit of, finding moments to pause and talk. Not that I have a problem with that, but I've been trying to, maybe overcompensate by talking more while the music's going. So I don't make all the videos 90 minutes long, but I also need to pull back and find moments to pause. But I heard that harmony, I was like, damn, hit the space bar. It was really good. So new section, the vocal style's changed even a little bit more. You've got kind of these rolled R's a little bit in the singing. That also evokes a certain kind of slight exoticism, at least from an American perspective. I actually am not sure what the Japanese perspective would be on, subtly rolled R's in an invented language, because they essentially roll their R/L kind of sound themselves, whereas in English we don't. So to us it's going to sound more exotic to our ears, but to theirs maybe it doesn't. Maybe it almost sounds more familiar. That's kind of an interesting thought. So yeah, I'm wondering, again, from the perspective of the composer and the initial audience, do they actually hear that the way I would? Would they have the connotations of exoticism here? And again, just minor. There's plenty of normal languages that roll R's that, even in America you're exposed to. But it does have that impression to a native English speaker who doesn't have these elements to our pronunciation in the language. Anyways, love this section, and I just want to get back to this harmony that stepped up that was really fresh. Oh, it sounded so Russian. Proshta. It sounded super Russian. Yeah. That chord, it just feels so good. Yes. Oh, what a great melodic shape. Da dun dun da dun dun. It just that's a sequence that's gorgeous with this vocal style. Let me catch that again. Lovely suspension in that cadence. It's just incredible. Again, that lovely harmony. Same sequence. Nice. Cadences into dropping out. Nice. The percussion's getting a little bit bolder. Still got that huge echo. Next section. Very dramatic, epic score, but it's fitting. Really focused on this percussion, these big horns, It sounds so full. And honestly, if like the track started like this and this was most of it, it would be like, I don't know, it doesn't stand out that much in terms of like, yeah, it's an epic track in a game. But context is everything in music. In the context of what we were just listening to, and having that vocal drop out into this big, echoey, dramatic, percussive section with these horns, it doesn't sound like your stereotypical soundtrack piece anymore. Just placed here, it's like such a contrast with what we were just listening to that it actually is contextualized in a much more enjoyable way. Some of those metallic clangs still. I like that melodic shape. Yep, thought this might happen. We're keeping the heightened intensity of the percussion while bringing in the vocal part from before. Question is, what playlist do I put this in? Because it's so calm, but also quite intense. Yeah, we've got these horns supporting it more than before. Counter melody in the horns now. God, I'm just, like, I'm imagining that in the game this is the heightened part when you're, like, fighting in this area or in this battle. Not sure. But what a wonderful, like, way to have it dynamically changed. Like, just because it's got such... It's so, like, meditative and beautiful, even with the percussion going on earlier, and this big echoey kind of sound that's so big. Just the way the voices are and the kind of subtlety of it at the same time make it, you know, really, like, there's a very calming effect, and then it essentially has all the same layers doing the same thing, but it just has this heightened percussion. Takes that, you know, very active but also quite restrained percussion earlier, really heightens it to sound very epic, you know, really gets that timpani in there, and but it keeps everything else the same, and it changes it to sound pretty intense, but it's like a mixture of intensity with that peacefulness, which I think is a perfect way to score something, talking about this pitiable kind of weapons. Kind of works perfectly for that name. But also, yeah, it's a kind of fascinating mix of moods, and I'm just imagining playing the game and, like, you get into combat or something heightens, and you're hearing this, whereas you probably already heard it in the peaceful context. It's kind of just a fascinating mood to experience. It's not the typical dynamic shift into the sort of battle music from the track that's happening that occurs in other games with dynamic music. It feels unique from it. Yeah, I look forward to playing the game and hearing this for myself in game. Anyways, let's wrap it up, and I'll stop and chat if there's anything too different, but otherwise I'll enjoy the rest of it. You know, I also want to shout out, like, for some reason, I can imagine someone like Dimash, if anybody's familiar with him. I can almost picture him, like, singing a song like this. There's some songs he does that are kind of like this style. Like, they've got vocals. He could sing this vocal part beautifully, and, you know, including some, like, effects and this sort of epicness that's happening in this version of the dynamic piece. I could, like, see Dimash kind of, like, doing a killer cover of this, you know, some of his songs, like, Across Endless Dimensions, like, that are, like, kind of quite epic, you know, regardless what you might think of them, like they do have like, maybe not that one in particular, but it just what comes to mind. Like there's this kind of like epicness plus this beautiful vocal. That would be really interesting. It just kind of popped into my head. I love the suspension. Oh, so satisfying. So catchy. I already know how it goes. It's so lovely and it's so memorable. I'm gonna sing this in the car, goddamn. Are we pulling back? Are we going to an earlier part or is it new? I assume it's the same as earlier because this is, you know, created dynamically. Again, not somewhere you want to overanalyze the structure of the track on the OST. It's just not relevant. But yeah, just fading out very gradually in this, you know, the way they've made this track. Gradual fade out. I wonder where the loop point is. It's clearly somewhere in here. It'll loop back to the section earlier, but yeah, I wonder where the loop point is. Well, that was freaking fantastic. You know, again, trying to be careful with my language, but might drop some F-bombs on this one as well. But damn, what a great piece. That was a killer suggestion, thank you. And I've definitely seen the name of this track. I've definitely seen Wretched Weaponry shown by people who do music reactions. I've never watched or listened to it because I don't usually look at reactions for anything I don't know. I usually try to not spoil things, or it's just not really a medium I use to discover new music much. I find a lot of the enjoyment being in the virtual sharing of something you really like with somebody else. If you don't necessarily have the chance to do it with, you know, you don't have people in your life who enjoy the same things you do to quite that depth, that I love reaction videos for that sake, seeing people look at things I already know. But I've definitely seen the name of this, so I'm not surprised it's great, because I know people have reacted to it, but it was my first exposure. It was just fabulous. Like, what a wonderful piece of music. Like, especially just the basis of the low intensity part, just with this unique, like, heavy echo of this percussion, just creating this certain atmosphere that I just have never really heard that done before, with that much intentionality. I've done some things, like I've done a sound walk to make some musique concrète in a style of like taking sounds you find and just editing their speed, and cutting them and editing speed, just like you would be transferring from different speed records, and not using pitch in any way, and sort of made a piece of music that creates structure out of, you know, the sound of like metallic clangs from hitting keys on like a metal gate, like at a park, recording the sound of like a stream sort of bubbling and slowing that down. And it kind of reminds me of that, like, because you get this massive echo when you take like the sound of a running stream and just stretch it out immensely. It's like a big ocean sound. And it almost sounds like that's done with some of this percussion, like it's been slowed down to sound like really just this huge echo. Also could be just a real-time sound, but it reminds me of that bit of composition that I did, which is a really fascinating process. You know, these metallic clangs that I created with metal on metal, like slowed down, sound like huge gongs, which is really cool. Maybe I'll share that at some point, what I made. It's not amazing, but it's pretty neat. Anyways, yeah, that element was unique. The vocals were, you know, need I say more? They're incredible. They're just really wonderful, really memorable. I already like knew the melody by the end of this track. Yeah, I'm still hearing the melody in my head. It's really, really catchy. And I just think this mood is like kind of shockingly perfect for the meaning of this title. And I assume for its place in the game too. Like, just brilliant work. Brilliant work. like, it's not like a masterpiece in terms of the amount of sections and melodies and complexity, and you know, it definitely loops and repeats things for this time, the way it's represented on the OST. You know, it's I'm not going to exaggerate too much like what it's achieving here, but I'm viewing it in the lens of like what it's doing in a game, what its job is, and what it's working with to create beauty and create immersion in the atmosphere of this moment in this story in this world, and the action going on. And I think it's just absolutely knocking it out of the park. Like, both tracks I've heard from NieR so far have been just really stunning, really fantastic. And I'm excited to hear more. This is just my second one. I will be hearing lots more from it before I play the game. And obviously it's going on the playlist. But as I mentioned in the video, I'm actually not sure where to put it. I actually don't know. Like, because it's kind of got orchestrated energy, but the thing is, it's got such a unique mood. It's like not entirely sure what the mood is, especially because it's this medium dynamic, this otsuko, like this version of the track. I almost want to put in dramatic classical, but it's clearly not. It's clearly not that. But it's not energetic either. It's not all the way to beautiful tranquility, and it's also kind of foresty, but not entirely. So I'm not sure. I think for now I'm going to make the executive decision not to knee-jerk like make a new playlist for it around its vibe, because I just don't think I'm going to find that other many tracks that like have this mood. It's such a unique mood. So I don't think I'm going to find other tracks to fit with it. So I think it's going to have to be the odd one out in a different playlist. And I think the playlist it fits with is possibly the Tranquility one. I almost want to put in dramatic classical, but I think it's going to go here. And actually, let me do this right. And I want to get the actual name here, which is this. And it's going to get cut off, but that's fine. You can live with it. I'll make a better version of this eventually. There you go. That's my thoughts on the piece. Wonderful. Had a great time. Thank you for the suggestion. And I will see you in the next video. Definitely will be doing more NieR. Have a great day, and yeah, see you next time.